Hey guys, it's Jennifer, Don Gaviola, and I feel inspired to talk about this topic, something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but it was synchronistic with, I had a call this morning for my Quiet Voice Big Impact Branding course, and one of my students we were talking about taking up space and how important that is, especially as an introvert, and I was talking about how I've been feeling that divine nudge to talk about that. So it just feels like, I just ended that Q&A call. So I just felt like, well, let's talk about it now. So, and it talks about, I'm titling this Facebook Live, Take Up Space and Feel Yourself. Feel Yourself. And we're also going to be talking about how to do that with your style. Because in my case, that's really helped me to feel really aligned with myself and to give myself permission to take up space fully. So let's talk about it. So taking up space. So I feel like as an introvert, because we have such a deep inner world that it can feel overwhelming when we engage with the world because we are overstimulated, right? So and sometimes we also are afraid of receiving negative feedback, like criticism and judgments and stuff like that. So sometimes I think we feel subconsciously like we want to like, hey Carissa, thanks for joining me. We want to make ourselves small, really take up as least space as possible, right? Like, okay, well, don't look at me. I'm gonna be in the corner. I want to be invisible, right? Because we fear this criticism, like, oh my gosh, I can't, I'm already so self-critical of myself. So when I engage with people, I can't take on even more of that negativity. So therefore we retreat into our shell and we try to take up as little space as possible, be invisible. Therefore, we won't have to really take on other people's negativity or judgments, right? So it's normal. It's normal as an introvert because we can feel so much around us that it can feel overwhelming. So that's why, I was talking about, maintaining clear boundaries, right? Yeah, Carissa says invisible works too well. For real, it does. Because it's just like, well, if you don't see me, then I'm avoiding judgment. If you don't see me, I don't have to show up. If you don't see me, I then don't have to show up for myself, right? I'm kind of like there halfway. And so we have to hold ourselves lovingly accountable of like, okay, how can I show up for myself? Because, it's your birthright, really, to show up and take up space. You have your lane, like we talked about yesterday, the turtle way. Own your lane. That's why you're here, right? You taking up as much space in your reality is why you're here. And you're not taking up other people's space when you're owning your lane, right? So this misnomer about like, well, I just want to be as small as possible. Like I have a quiet voice, so therefore I'm supposed to like have a small presence too. Like that way I don't rock the boat. That way I don't offend anyone. That way I don't trigger anyone because I'm ultimately operating from a place of avoidance. Like I don't want to trigger you. I already feel uncomfortable, so I don't want to make you uncomfortable. So then there's more discomfort, right? But what I found is the more that you maybe identify that, like, okay, I have this pattern, but then you have this desire to want more for yourself. Intuitively, you know that you're meant to take up space. You know when you feel like you're hiding and always like operating from a place of fear, right? You know intuitively that you're here to actually expand and to grow, to take up space, to have presence. To have presence. That's why you're here. That's why I always talk about the more present you are, the better, because then you can actually attune to yourself, have that quiet time, attune to yourself, feel, like give yourself whatever you need to feel full. And then when you do show up in full presence, you operate from a place of fullness, right? Because then people can feel you energetically because of that. They feel like how full you are within yourself, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm feeling her," right? Because she's feeling herself, right? So just be kind with yourself, but also, again, hold yourself lovingly accountable about like these fears of really taking up space. you know, really notice when you show up to a room, like how do you normally show up? It's like, I'm just gonna go to the back of the room, or I'm just gonna hide behind my friend. I don't want to go alone because I need to hide behind this person, or in a meeting, I don't really want to speak up. Like really pay attention to those things, because only until you bring light to that can you heal it, but heal it from a place of like love and compassion for yourself, right? But I felt really moved to talk about how it's really important to give yourself permission to take up space. And I'm going to talk about some examples of how you can do that in a second. But I first wanted to talk about how we tend to do that as introverts. Like, well, we're quiet and we're on the reserve side, so therefore my presence needs to be as small as possible, you know? But I have recognized like the calling that God is wanting to come through me is that, no, you can be quiet and fierce. Fierce, not like fierce in an egotistical way, but like fierce, like you're owning your power, you're owning your presence, you're taking up space, you recognize you have value, you speak from your heart. That is how you are meant to like show up in the world. They can feel that deep resonance within yourself. But the only way people can see you is if you see yourself first, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is this like resonance, right? Because the more, why this is important to create resonance, because that's how you energetically attract the right opportunities and people to you, right? For me, how I've grown my business over the past 8 years, it's showing up like in a really organic, natural way, really showing up consistently and sharing from my heart on video and written posts. But it's always like, I always am present to like what feels alive for me, and I share from that place in a spirit of service. This topic I could talk about like for a long time, because this whole topic on taking up space, I feel like it's, especially as women, you know, I mean, there's so many levels to this, but as women, we're taught like, well, you know, just take up a little space, not too much, because if you take up too much, you're considered like a diva or a bee, you know. It's just like, okay, but only ourselves can we discern how much space feels complete for us. So I really encourage you to just give yourself permission to take up as much space as possible. Practice what that could look like for you, because ultimately when you have that energetic resonance within yourself, that's when you can like really, that's that magic. You unlock that magic in yourself. You're feeling your vibe, and your vibe really will energetically attract the right people to you, because again, energy doesn't lie. So again, the more you can create that resonance within yourself, you feel aligned, you're putting out good energy, the right people will pick up what you're putting down, for real. All right, so let's talk about like how you can do this, like from a practical standpoint. So again, you're gonna give yourself permission to, the last part of this is how you create this resonance, how you take up space, is you give yourself permission to fully express yourself, right? Okay, so what that looks like, it could be different ways, right? Whatever you feel drawn to. First up, like starting off, this process may feel scary, so just giving yourself permission to like journal and write without filtering yourself, editing yourself, right? Just between you and you. It's one way. You can paint, you can draw, you can dance. Like there has to be a certain sense of lightness and freedom in whatever you choose to do, because again, you're giving yourself permission to take up space, really honor your desire to express yourself, in however form that looks like, and then just do it. And so now this leads me to my favorite part that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, is this whole concept of style, and style being a very sacred practice. Because for me, I will tell you, this is my testimony. For me, style has been my saving grace in helping me to explore who I am, my voice, my spirit, and that power. Because for a long time, I would shy away from expressing anything that felt powerful. Because to me, I don't know, I learned growing up that I associated power with like domination and like almost bullying. And so for me to explore power was just like, I don't want that. I don't want to like feel that heaviness or that weight. And I also don't want to make other people feel that way. But what I realize is we're only responsible for ourselves, right? And so you're not responsible for how other people respond or perceive you. What's most important is that you show up fully for yourself, and you show up you're present with yourself, and you share from your heart. And again, that's the magic, and then people can feel your intention and your pure intention to serve. So let's talk about that. So what I do, like I mentioned in our live call the other day, every day after I do my wake up and I do my gratitude practice, acknowledge my blessings, and then I ask for guidance, ask myself what I need, and make note of that to give myself what I need for that day, so I feel full. And then I ask for guidance from God, what was it I'm meant to know today, and how am I meant to serve? Like, who am I meant to help? Okay, so when I went through that practice this morning, I could feel that I was supposed to talk about this topic, taking up space and talking about style in a very sacred way. And then when I had my Quiet Voice Big Impact Branding course Q&A call this morning, one of my students talked about it. It was just like, oh, this whole topic of taking up space needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just gave me divine confirmation. So that's why I feel like on fire to talk about this, because this morning when I was getting dressed, part of me was like, oh, let me just wear something that's kind of like neutral. And because part of me was just like, I'm kind of tired. Maybe I should just, really want to just like be low key with how I want to show up. But I could feel in my spirit what I really felt drawn to wear was this number. Let me show you. Look, it's like red. It's vintage, of course, but it has these like, I don't know. It's like from the future. It's like from the Christmas future. I don't know, but I love it. I love things that are unusual, but I could feel in my spirit that this is really what I wanted to wear today, because it helped me attune to this energy of like self-expression and power and liberation for me. I didn't know that at the time this morning. I was feeling into what, if I'm being really honest with myself, what do I really want to wear and not worry about how I'm being perceived? This, and I want to wear it with red lips, right? And again, it's just about giving myself permission to do that. And therefore, because I chose to wear this, I felt deeply aligned, and I showed up on that call super present, super aligned, of being an open channel to serve, and it was a magnificent call. And I wanted to like use that energy right away, right after the call, and show up for you in this video right now, is because I'm feeling it, right? So Kristen says sometimes being invisible works well. Oh yeah, I mentioned that. So what I want to talk about for the style piece is that to help you is actually, before I do that, to give you more tips, I wanted to share other pieces that I'm feeling, because again, these pieces, I want you to really like give yourself, whether or not you consider yourself quote unquote fashionable, that's not the point of this. We're not trying to be on trend. The whole point of this, I actually have an acronym for style that God gave me, and I have this ebook that I titled after this acronym. Style is spiritually translating your life's essence. Right? Super deep, right? So when you allow yourself to tap into the essence, the core of who you are, style then becomes a sacred practice for you to express that power and that beauty from the inside out. Then that becomes a sacred practice, and that's why this is so powerful for me. And I wanted to reflect that to you. Now, don't underestimate what you wear. It is really an opportunity for you to communicate with your spirit. What is it I feel drawn to wear? And then reflecting on what is that one, what am I wanting to express today? Again, for me, the sweater, I felt a little bit aversion to it because I was like, well, maybe it's too bright, it's unusual. But I was like, no, if I'm really listening, pay attention, this is really what I want to wear. And what I'm telling you, when I put it on this morning and I put on my lips, the red lips, I felt aligned. I was like, oh, I am on point. Let's do this, right? So I'm telling you, just the physical act of aligning with yourself does help you feel aligned with who you are on the inside. And so it's really a beautiful, sacred practice. So before I share a little bit more tips on how you can do this for yourself, I wanted to share some other pieces that I've been feeling. So hold on, look at this. Okay, so this, look at this. Oops. Let me take the belt out of the way. This is a vintage number. Oh my God. Look at this thing. Look at the shoulder situation, its angles. Look at the pockets. Oh my God, it has pockets up here and here. But it's like, again, I have this like, I draw to this futuristic vibe, like obviously with these things, and then this, it's like this reminds me of like, if you had like an army in the future that was stylish, this. Okay, so this thing was only $20, okay? That's actually something I'm really good at. I can find really good bargains that look like $1 million. Okay, so, and then this, and then these. Look at these boots. I got these like maybe a month ago, but they're kind of like socks. But I love anything leopard. So what I like about these, they're comfortable. The heel's not too high. But guess how much these were? These were only like, I think $15, $16. I know, ridiculous. But look at this. And they're my size. There's only one. Oh my God. Hold on. Okay. And this. Oh my goodness. So now it's cold in Houston. I think it's like now in the 50s. And actually today is my 20-year anniversary with my sweetheart. So I've been filling out like, what do I want to wear? I'm not exactly still sure what I want to wear, but I do feel drawn to wear this. Look at this. It's like a stylish Yeti, or I love anything furry. And this, again, I don't remember how much I paid for this. This is definitely vintage. But look at this effing thing. Fantastic. Hold on. Okay. So, and I love just in general when my sweetheart put my office together for my birthday as a very thoughtful gift. I've always envisioned my office to have a rack of clothes, because for me, how I recognize how I thrive is I need beauty around me. I need really things that are beautiful and meaningful physically around me to help cultivate that sense of beauty within like myself, right? And so the fact that this rack of clothes, that I put together is like right there, and I can like look at it for inspiration. I love it because again, it's like I feel like this space is then sacred because it's housing things that are very important to me that really help me tune in and attract, well, not attract, but help me tune in to things that are of value to me, beauty, things feeling sacred. When I look at these clothes, it helps me to remind me of my spirit. That's deep. This is not just some superficial thing. Like a lot of people talk about style. It's like, oh, are you on trend? And I've never resonated with that. It's really about you giving yourself permission to go, I love that, period. I don't have to explain it. I love it. And therefore, because I love it, I'm going to wear it. And because it's an honor, I'm adorning myself with beauty because I love it for me. That is so powerful. So that's what I wanted to share with you is that that practice. Oh, I have a lot of comments here. Carissa says, for style, I used to wear black. Lately, though, I prefer wearing animal prints or red because it's fierce, powerful. It kind of forces me into the limelight. Yes, out of invisibility. Hell to the yes. Kind of hard to ignore animal print clothes. I'm telling you. That's why I want to start off talking about how these limitations that we put on ourselves on taking up space. It's like, well, it's better, it's safer for me to be invisible, right? Because we're operating from a place of fearing fear. We're operating a place of fearing judgment. But ultimately, when you operate from that place, you're giving your power away because your validation is based on what people think of you. But if you look at it from this place, where you're like, I'm going to wear whatever the hell I want to wear. I'm going to show up however I want to show up. That feels good to me in the spirit of service. Then you're taking your power back, right? You're taking your power back and you're owning it for yourself. So let's see. Jennifer says, spiritually translating your life's essence. Yes, that's the truth. That's, I'm gonna, I feel drawn to like really share more about this topic and share my book again. And I feel like what this divine nudge I'm feeling is possibly like doing a live experience with that, because there's something about this. It's very empowering. But I think where I have felt some resistance around it is because I've never seen anyone do it this way. But I feel more and more that God is giving me these divine nudges, that it may not be anything that anyone's seen before, but it's necessary. And that's to give myself permission and courage to actually provide that experience for people so they can really express themselves and attune to themselves and resonate with themselves and give themselves permission to be who they are, like unapologetically, you know? Jennifer says, was that a dress or a pantsuit? The jumpsuit, that was his pants. Yeah, that army green thing. Yeah, and then the great boots. Thank you. Of course they were in your size. I know, those boots were like 6.5. I was like, come on. It was like one pair in the whole store, my size, and it was cheap. I was like, okay, these are meant for me. Thank you. Thank you for sharing a happy anniversary. I'm excited because after this call, we're going to go have brunch and then just celebrate. And that's, I think, part of the reason why I wanted to wear something that was bolder today, to help me get in that vibe of like, you know, being grateful for what I have and looking and seeing like 20 years, you know, that's an accomplishment. So in my prayer time this morning, God said to me, really recognize that what you're experiencing today, what's significant about today, this 20th anniversary, think about how far you've come and how I have actually brought forth that blessing, and I answered your prayer to have a relationship like this. And this day is to commemorate this day for you and him. So that really put a lot of things, grounded things, my thoughts today into like, wow, yeah, this is divine evidence that, you know, God is good. And hey, I have love in my life, and I'm grateful to be full in this relationship and to be able to be of service to all of you. And so for me to show up in this way for all of you is a privilege. I can then operate from a place of fullness for you because I'm full for me, right? All right, Krista says, happy anniversary. Thank you so much. So I want to leave you with a couple tips to help you take up space and fully express yourself. So the first thing is take up space. Notice your limiting beliefs around like showing up. Just jot it down in your phone. Just notice like, oh, when I walk into a room, I feel shy, or when I looking at possibly wearing something bold makes me feel scared. Write that down, reflect on it, and then give yourself the space and the grace to be like, okay, this is where we're at. We're ultimately shedding light with love and grace on it, so you know where you're working from, right? But the goal is to work. We're going to work through it, so you feel like, okay, this is where I am, but this is where I want to go. So the middle part, you're going to like hold loving space for yourself to transition. So pay attention to how those limiting beliefs, and then ask yourself, okay, well, where do I want to go ultimately? You know, I want to express more of my bolder side. I want to speak up. I want to dance. I want to take that salsa class. Like, give yourself permission to explore what those could be. And then the last part is to actually do the thing. So why I want to talk about style, because it's a very easy way to get started. So go to your closet every morning, stand in front of the closet, and feel into, okay, what do I feel drawn to wear today? Like, feel into it. And it's interesting, like notice like things that you're not feeling, pay attention to that too. Because like yesterday when I was trying to figure out what to wear in that turtle wave call, I was like, I changed several times because I was like, this is not it. This is not it. And then I finally landed on that jacket. So give yourself permission to feel into it. Like again, this morning for me, I thought I wanted to wear this sweater, but I was like, maybe I should wear white, or maybe I should wear gray, just something more neutral. But then I was like, no, if I'm being really honest with myself, I want to wear this red number with red lips, you know? And so I did. And again, telling you, it really helped me to feel aligned and to show up fully, especially for my Quiet Voice Big Impact Branding course Q&A call this morning. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, what resonates with you. I love this topic so much. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna explore this idea of doing this, maybe a Spirit of Style experience, maybe a live intensive, a live group. I'm not sure. I'll let y'all know, but I do feel just talking about style in this very sacred and empowering way to help you attune to yourself, feel deeply aligned, and then give yourself permission to show up and take up space. There's something about that I feel there's a lot of energy behind it. So I'm gonna explore that. But in the meantime, if you do feel drawn to connect with me and just connect and just see how we can help you fully, show up, own your presence, take up space, and really make the impact that you want to make, I invite you to schedule a complimentary discovery call with me. We can feel it out and see how, you can explore, showing up in a bigger, expansive way, like that highest self that you can sense. How can you give yourself permission to explore that and to impact your life and especially your business in a way where you feel like when you show up from that aligned place, you best believe that's going to have a positive impact on your business. So if this resonates, you can email me at info@dawningsoul.com, or you can send me a private message. So thank you guys for Carissa, Jennifer, and those of you watching the live of this. I had fun. This gives me a lot of joy to talk about this topic. Give yourself permission to take up space. I'm telling you, be loving and kind as you move through and expand. But I'm telling you, like when you give yourself permission to let go of what people think and you put more weight on what you think and you show up for yourself, that is the secret sauce. That's how you become magnetic. That's how you become credible, believable, trustworthy, because you're feeling yourself. Energetically, you are feeling yourself. And the more you do that, the right people will feel you. And then there's going to be a pull. People will lean in and move towards you. I'm telling you, that's how I've grown my business. Is the more I show up deeply aligned, feeling myself, the right people show up. I'm telling you, it's a very organic way to work and to grow your business. So if you have any questions, tag me in the group. I'm going to go and enjoy brunch with my love and celebrate the rest of the day and the weekend for our 20-year anniversary. So thanks for the love, and I will talk with you soon. Bye, guys.